Why don't we jump into and finish off? Start with Star Wars, ending with Game of Thrones. Season 8 premiere last night. A lot of mirroring from the very first episode of season 1 in this. Big reunion, big setup episode, which is pretty much what we all expected. We got little kids being pinned to walls. I mean, we got people riding dragons, and the person who owns the dragons not even being like that surprised that this person can do it. Just a lot going on in this episode. So Dave, where do you want to start? What stood out most to you in the premiere?
I just want to start with how impressed I was with it as a premiere. As you mentioned, There's a lot of setup. Generally, beginnings of seasons in Thrones have to set a lot of tables, set a lot of characters. They're usually all over the place. You gotta reestablish the plots and get them moving, But as we mentioned in our theories segment, let's check that out, youtube.com/nostalgiapod, because all the characters are in the same place, you get to have the best of both worlds. You get to set up the plot while also have lots of that palace intrigue that the show is so famous and so good at, And I just really like seeing all these reunions that we knew were coming. Arya and Gendry, Arya and the Hound, Jaime and Bran at the end. We didn't really get it yet. Sansa and Daenerys for the first time. Jon and Arya. That's probably the one everyone wanted to see the most. Just really cool bits of payoff. And meanwhile, Jon rides a dragon in the first episode. Sam tells Jon he's actually Aegon Targaryen in the first episode. We find out the Night King has already passed last Hearth, and has killed young Lord Umber.
Ned Umber.
All of them. We get all that in the first episode, and it's under an hour. But I thought it was well paced, didn't feel rushed. The Tyrion Sansa reunion I thought was really great. Really establishes how much Sansa has grown, and also how Tyrion has kind of stumbled the past few years. And I think the most important thing they had to set up was the distrust the Northmen have for Dany as a foreigner, outsider coming up into their world, and also truly Sansa's distrust or aversion to putting all their eggs in the Dany basket. And then even things that we thought they kind of got away from in season 7. They talk about a lot of logistics, right? It's like Cersei's like, I was promised elephants, and everyone's like, oh cool, that'll be cool to see the elephants. And then the Golden Company leader, I forget his name, he's like, nah, brah, they don't like the ship, the sea voyage. Meanwhile, HBO is like, too expensive. We got dragons to make, but
yeah, we got dragons to make, but we forgot about the direwolves. Sorry, man, don't have enough in the budget for fucking direwolves.
And Sansa though is like, how do we feed these dragons? Bro?
Yeah,
land for this shit. Like these are like really like.
How do we feed all the people in Winterfell? I mean,
excellent.
Goddamn. Yeah, I was like, really good point. Honestly, Sansa asking the right questions. No, I agree. I think they did a really good job setting up a lot of things this episode. I was surprised at how much we got right away. I really liked most of the reunions. I thought Arya and the Hound was fantastic. Arya Jon was probably like the most emotional one overall. Just seeing like these two curmudgeons, so to speak, like actually be happy was kind of nice. Right. Arya Gendry, I mean, they're totally gonna fuck, so that's super cool. Yeah, definitely good for them. Jon did fuck, I guess, near a waterfall in the snow with two dragons watching. Like that they could have cut that scene down just a little bit. Like I got it.
It's funny. The show this episode at least produced a lot of memeable moments.
Oh yeah,
Drogon, looking
Bran,
obviously, but I didn't feel like they were forced at all.
No.
Which I think is important. Like a lot of shows, especially now, they can try and strive for the social footprint to keep themselves on the air. But Thrones, I think it clearly felt like a Thrones episode that saw the identity of the show, the best parts of the show, despite being very close to the end, despite having a lot of the story condensed and only a few plots out there now. So I thought it was very impressive. And, the cool thing about the Jon Arya reunion, which everyone was happy to see, and as you mentioned, really sweet, but they do present the tension with Sansa. and Daenerys, and I think that's gonna keep coming up. Also, something that I don't think anyone had really talked about. I certainly didn't think of it. We didn't discuss it. Sam learning that his dad and brother died.
Yeah.
Was not on my mind at all. And I thought that was really well done. And using that to have emotional Sam reveal to Jon what he and Bran know, I thought that was excellent. So I thought it was a great premiere.
Yeah, I was a little bit. I mean, I thought the scene was well acted between Sam and Danny and Jorah, obviously, but I was a little bit like, Sam, you gotta like take a deep breath before you're like, would you have done this? Oh yeah, because you're the fucking claim. You have the claim to the Iron Throne. I was like, dude, like take a deep breath. Like let's talk this out first. And that's also why you needed Bran to like be there with him when they talk about this. Like Bran just being like, nah, can't do it. Not gonna be able to do it. Like, man. And also, shout out the Bran Jamie moment at the end. I thought that was really, really great. It was, like I said, it wasn't my favorite reunion, but just like what a great moment to end the episode on, and like the mirroring from the first episode where the last scene is Jamie pushing him out the window. It's just so excellent. Any other moments or anything that stood out? I mean, you got SEAL Team Greyjoy going in there. I mean, the Golden Company / Greyjoy Army just taking out that easily. Like, I'm not afraid of the Golden Army at this point. Golden.
Yeah, well, you figure that the Golden Company's like hanging in King's Landing, right? The ships are not as guarded. That was my take on it, but I like that because they got Yara.
You mean they're not guarding? Yeah, they're not guarding the prize prisoner. Like what?
I mean, it's Euron. He's a cocky guy, right? But they got Yara out of the way,
literally,
off the Iron Islands. She'll probably never be heard from or harmed at this point. And we're getting Theon back to Winterfell so he can die. Good.
Yeah.
Not wasting time, but done well. It doesn't feel rushed, but it's efficient. I really like the moment where all the Northmen, in the Vale, everyone they're chilling in the hall, and with Dany and Sansa and Jon and all of them, and young Lord Umber, his last moments. He's like, my lady, my lord, my queen. Like I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, and really well done to kind of show like how I think everybody in that room was kind of feeling like uneasy with the situation. I also thought the scene where they found Ned Umber pinned up against the wall, the message from the White Walkers, was actually pretty terrifying. I thought, the way that he like, you see his eyes like slowly start glowing and then he starts screaming. Really, really like, I think set the table well there. And the whole thing with Bronn as well, where Cersei wants, and also Cersei this episode was just, I thought, fantastic. Just, the most quotable line, that Drake line that's not actually a Drake line, coming out of this, where she says, if you want a whore, go buy one. If you want a queen, earn one. And then just immediately doubles down, just fucks him anyway. Like, good for her, man. Like,
that's awesome.
Just the whole episode was really good. I really enjoyed it. So, I'm looking forward to, crazy. Only 5 more. I feel kind of sad about it, honestly. Like, we lead up to it so much, and it's like, oh, okay, here it is.
Yeah, well, the hype was in full force. Actually, let me check the ratings while we're talking. Just feels like Game of Thrones content, Game of Thrones awareness had never been higher. And I mean, everyone's just really excited. Let's see. 17.4 million viewers. That's multi-platform record. Let's see. Yeah, it's a record for Thrones anyway. Really massive. Obviously, that doesn't compare to like football games, but
right. That's an insane amount for a TV show. Yeah, and who actually I thought they did the best job with in this episode was Arya, just in general. She's standing there at the beginning, just part of the crowd, which I think kind of speaks to her like faceless man training in a way, where she's just blending in, even though she is this like part of the whole family. But then they kind of brought her humanity out, which you haven't seen a lot of in past seasons. So I thought they did that in a really, really great way. So just shout out the writers for that. I think they handled this episode really, really well.
Yeah, if you watch, you miss it. It's on YouTube. The brief preview of the next episode. Looks like Barrick, Tormund and crew and Ed, they get back to Winterfell. I was actually curious about that because they were coming down from the wall at Last Hearth. Last Hearth is still pretty far from the wall. You Google the map of the north. It's Last Hearth was like the northernmost castle for any of the northern houses. So they're still pretty far away, but I guess they're going to sneak past the army of the dead somehow, beat them there. There's less of them. I guess they can travel faster. But yeah, I mean, judging by that preview, it looks like we're going to start to get some conflict early. So
definitely
exciting. Who knows what happens?
Yeah, and also I think a Jaime Lannister trial, it seems like, of sorts. So some very interesting stuff this next episode, and then we got the Battle of Winterfell. So lots to be looking forward to. Yeah, seriously. I mean, if you're not watching Game of Thrones and for some reason you're listening to this, it's too late. You can't catch up, and we don't want you to. So.
I mean, at this rate, I'm just like, I'm like, if you're not caught up, it's your fault. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit about that anymore. Like,
you had 500 days.
Watching this show. I started watching this show before season 2 ended. Like, I caught up on season 1 and then watched the end of season 2 live. Like, I was on the shit early. Everyone else got in a few years later. That's fine. If you're not in now, you made your bed, bro. Sorry, get spoiled. Like, Kit Harington's on SNL. Guess he didn't die. That's your fault if you didn't find this out already.